Hi, I'm Jonathan J and welcome to this channel all about buying a business. Today I want to clear up one of the big misunderstandings around business buying. Should you buy the shares or should you buy the assets? And if you buy the assets, what are the assets? There are three ways to buy a business. The first is to buy the shares in the company, the second is to buy the assets of the company, and the third is to buy the business via an administration, and we'll save that one for another video. So the difference between buying shares and buying assets seems to confuse a lot of people because they don't understand that the business itself is an asset. The business itself is an asset of the company. So let me explain the difference between buying shares and buying assets. When you buy the shares, the ownership of the company, the limited company, the separate legal entity, changes from the previous owner to presumably you or to the special purchase vehicle that you've set up in order to buy the company. Again, more about that on another video on this channel. So what's happened now is the ownership has changed at the top, but you get everything underneath. You get the good, the bad, and the ugly of this company. You get all the good stuff, which is the customer contracts. You get all the bad stuff, which is the liabilities, and the downright ugly stuff, which is usually the things that the owner has hidden from you. So when you buy a company, you get the whole lot. Now on the plus side, you also get the credit history of the company, you get the supplier contracts, you get all the customer relationships, you get that goodwill that's built up in the company, and potentially you get local authority, government contracts. There's always a few caveats to some of this advice because you should always take great legal advice when buying a business. But when we buy the company, we've got everything lock, stock and barrel. Now, the alternative to buying the company is to buy the assets of the company. Now, when I say assets, people always think tables and chairs and second-hand computers, which quite frankly just aren't worth very much. But what they forget is that the business is an asset. The name is an asset. The customer contracts are assets. Okay, so when we buy the assets out of the business, we're leaving behind all the liabilities. They're not your problem. They're the problem of the person who owns the company that's selling you the assets. Now, why would you do an asset purchase? Well, quite typically with smaller businesses, an asset purchase is the fastest, easiest way to get what you want to achieve, because usually in these smaller businesses, that's where the owners run it as a personal piggy bank. There's lots of personal stuff going through the business. They've wrapped up their personal life in with the company, and therefore buying the assets is a very fast way of getting what you want, the trading business, without extensive due diligence to figure out all the bits that you don't want. So when we do asset purchases, which typically take just a few weeks, where share purchases take a few months, our legal fees are lower. Out of the last 50 deals that I've done, 46 or 47 have been asset purchases. So you can see that I favor them. So now what we've got is all the bits that we want, we leave behind the bits that we don't want, and we've got ourselves a trading business running out of the SPV, the special purpose or special purchase vehicle, the company that's been set up to acquire the assets. So when you're deciding to buy a business, this is a very, very important consideration. Do you buy the company, the shares? Do you buy the assets out of the company? I know which one I favor. However, the bigger the business that you're buying, the more likely you are to buy the shares. So it really depends upon the size of the acquisition as well. These are all the things that you need to take into consideration. But knowing the difference between buying assets and buying shares can save you a lot of money. A lawyer advised me on an acquisition in 2006, and I was going to be buying the shares. I ended up buying the assets down to his advice, and it saved me £1.4 million. So if this saves you a ton of money as well, then that's my job done. I think this type of content helps you make better business buying decisions. If you agree, then please like this video, subscribe to this channel, tap the notifications bell, and I'll see you on the next business buying video.